What's going on, everybody? It's November 8th, 2022, Daily Log episode number 47. Today we're going to cover US 500 and the price action that unfolded. So today was election day. Nothing too significant played out, and I believe we might wait for Thursday. There's CPI numbers coming out. That's the only news driver this week that I could see sending price significantly to a level that we can finally get some clarity on where price is going, because as of now, I'm neutral. I don't know where price is going currently. And I talked about this earlier inside of the Telegram, how there's going to be times where you get your overall drawn liquidity or narrative wrong, or B, you just simply don't know. And coming into the week, we were looking for bearish prices. We were looking for lower prices on US 500 and other indices using that fair value gap on the daily time frame. And as we're sitting right now, our analysis may be invalid. Now, I wouldn't say completely due to the daily time frame. We haven't fully closed above that fair value gap here in the SIBI, but the fact that we've rose above the premium end there does possibly indicate that we could run higher. Now, there's some things on lower time frames that, again, I'm able to justify both sides of the market. And when you're able to do that, and you may not be able to really understand how to do that in your earlier stages, but as you get more experienced, you can start to figure out, one-sided, price action versus knowing, okay, I could justify both sides. And right now we're sitting at basically EQ of that range. So what I'm gonna say is wait for more information. I think a price like the weather, there's a lot of weather changing a lot of the times, especially on your narrative, especially on the drawn liquidity. Some days, some weeks, some months, it's very sunny, very clear, blue skies, and you're able to see the picture very clearly. And sometimes a storm rolls in and you're not able to depict what's really going to happen that next day. You don't know if it's going to be rainy the next day, it's going to be thunderstorms, or if it's going to, clear up, maybe just a little, overhead clouds, or if it's going to be, fully sunny. And that can change day to day, hour by hour, minute by minute. Um, but I'm really just talking about the higher time frame narrative. As of now, for me, if you were to look at the weather per se, I would say it's very cloudy for me. I don't know. Now, maybe by the morning, maybe by the next day, it can start to clear up. I can start to get a better picture, better view of what price is, looking like. So I think that's a good analogy for narrative and just basically your overall drawn liquidity most of the times. That's the way I like to think about it. So let's go into the 4-hour time frame. I talked about how in the Telegram today, this was a possible scenario. If we're still looking at the dealing range structure, dealing range low to dealing range high, that's really coming from the daily time frame. We came into a discount, taking out sell stops, running into a bullish order block, these last down close candles, and since then we've just been drifting higher. To me, price should have already have used this fair value gap in the balanced price range to send price lower. It's taken way too long for price to obviously use this to send price lower. We still haven't closed fully above the premium end there, which would finally, give me that confirmation that that bias is no longer viable. So I talked about today how you want to be able to know logically with reason that your bias is no longer valid. And you do that with understanding, is order flow no longer respecting the PD raise that I was looking for? Is it no longer going towards my drawn liquidity? Is it using the opposite side intraday order flow PD arrays? So for an example, on the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute, it's using bullish order flow. Now that would be normal if we were, coming up into that fair value gap. But since we've already traded above it, especially on lower time frames, it's starting to indicate to me, and it already has even since yesterday, but I'm clearing some questions. It's clearing it up to me that this is probably no longer bearish. And I kind of really need the final, nail in the coffin on the daily time frame for me to really, really consider bullishness. And especially in the morning time, if we're already climbing above it, then I'll already have the idea that we're going to 39.20. So the only reason that I'm kind of just super neutral is due to these elections right now. I believe the way price is looking, it's just slowly building up, slowly building up. And when I've seen this, usually means a big move is coming. And I annotated this trend line phantom, which is, it was existing here. We dropped down basically the last couple of hours in the day here. But this trend line phantom is something that ICT teaches. Same thing as liquidity. There's sell stops resting beneath all of these lows. And retail traders, even myself back, 3-4 years ago, I was using trend lines. So this makes sense to a retail trader, but to us, we're understanding that there's sell side liquidity building up underneath all of these lows here. Okay, so there is a possibility we could run the buy side first and then, run lower to take out the sell side liquidity. We also have relative equal lows resting underneath the low here at 36.94. So there's a lot of possibilities. And if you're just taking from dealing range high to dealing range low, we're inside of a premium. I mean, if we fall back into equilibrium, that just really indicates to me that I should stay out of the market until I have a little bit more clear picture. Okay, so let's dig into, I'm actually going to hop over to ES. FYI, I might change to ES. I'm sure a lot of you will be happy about that. US 500, the indice feed has just been, I haven't enjoyed it, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of gaps, a lot of weird price action, and I'd rather just stick with the futures feed, and then I'll just trade on MT4 US 500. So I'll probably switch over the weekend. That way we'll have a fresh, clean week with it. But let's review today and see what happened. I wanted to put on the midnight opening and then the 7:30 opening. I usually don't do this, but this is taught inside of the YouTube mentorship. We dropped down overnight, setting the low of the day, and then we expanded higher. So coming into New York session, I'm usually looking at the midnight open and saying to myself, has price already set the low or the high of the day? And can I expect a continuation or can I expect a reversal? So today I was looking at it. I woke up a little late. I was just reading price. I thought we could just continue higher. We already set the low of the day. We expanded higher on a 15-minute time frame. We had a shift above market high here. And then I saw this fair value gap resting there. And then even the 30-minute, there's a fair value gap resting there. So if you dig into a 5-minute time frame, let's do this here. You have a breaker resting. I'm sorry, it should be on the 15-minute. You have a breaker resting here. You also have your 15-minute fair value gap. If you go down to a 5-minute, you also have a fair value gap resting there, and even your second one underneath there. And if you take from your dealing range low to your dealing range high on a 15-minute, 30-minute, we're dropping down into a discount. Now, if you go sub 5-minute, maybe like a 2-minute, you can clearly see the YouTube model. You're running out sell side liquidity, returning into higher time frame POI, breaker, fair value gap, discount, and then we see price displace higher. On a 1-minute, We displace above an old high here, and then we come back down into a discount relative from dealing range low to dealing range high, and we have a fair value gap resting there. Coupled, if you look to the left of you, a balanced price range. Now, that 1 minute fair value gap, there's a 2 minute, there's a 3 minute, there's no 4 minute, and there's no 5 minute. There's a small little 5 minute in there, actually. So to me, this would qualify. The reason being, you already have higher time frame context off the 15-minute backbone. Price displaces higher. And you also have that balanced price range there. So that's a really good indication for me. The only time frame that did not have that fair value gap was the 4 minute time frame. So honestly, that'd be okay with me. There's going to be times when, not that you make exceptions, but you have pretty strong confidence and confluence with higher time frames and even the lower time frames suggesting that we should run higher. Okay. So 2 minute time frame, I really like this fair value gap resting there with the balanced price range. If you look to the left of it, price dips into it, discount, and then rallies higher. Okay. The rest of the day, it's pretty sloppy. And again, this is all election day, post NFP, post FOMC price action. So I'm not surprised by the beginning of this week and the way we played out. I believe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week could clear up price action and maybe give us some really nice setups. Maybe 1 or 2 to end off the week, which would be amazing. Towards the end of the day, I posted in the Telegram right around here. What does this look like to you on a 1 minute? To me, this was looking like a market maker buy model. I was just studying price. We have the original consolidation, accumulation, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, and then we distribute higher. And since then, we've just been consolidating. So, like I said, I'm quite neutral on price right now. I would prefer us to run lower, but I do see the possibility of us going higher due to us closing above opposing fair value gaps. So SIBIs, we're closing above that on the 1 hour. We closed above it. 30 minute, closed above it. 15 minute, we've closed above it. And even let's say on a 30 minute, this order block here, to me, I just don't really trust it, to be honest with you. But if we do ultimately run lower, that could be the catalyst for it. So just keep your eye there. If we do end up running lower, that would be great. Sell side liquidity objectives are 36.94, and then buy side would be 39.17. Okay, so that's ultimately what I'll be looking for. I think that's it for today. Until tomorrow, I'll update in the morning what's going on with price. But until then, good luck and good trading, everybody.